What's going on, you guys? I was actually mid-bite with a snack. But welcome
We're
to
snacking
the
today.
Geekly Goods Roundup. This is episode 80. We'll be talking about Joker 2 and the box office bomb that it has seriously become. Also, we'll talk a little bit about the movie, and we've got Scream 7 news. We've got a weird new move by the studios as well. The studios are going to start using super fan focus groups, and we're going to talk about how that could actually be a terrible idea. So, guys, join in down in the comments, y'all. I can't wait to chat. But I got my co-host with me. What's going on, Loretto? How are you, man? How was your week?
It's hot. California, or at least my part of the California, Northern California is in a bit of a heat wave, October heat wave for whatever reason. Yeah, it was like 100 degrees today, so I'm trying to keep cool. Heat kind of put me out for a couple hours there, and I was sad about the game, but you know, it is what it is. Stuff happens. Congratulations to your Broncos, though. Good win.
3 in a row, baby. And I'm so glad beat my dad's team, the Raiders, after 8 straight losses to this mediocre team. We finally beat them. Feels great. Sorry about the loss, but hey, at least I was close. It wasn't like it was like a blowout for y'all. So that's good that it was.
You know,
loss.
I feel like we're losing ones we should win, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. I worry about those games for us. But Elay, hello. How are you?
I'm good. Just here with the tropical heat as well, but at least we've been getting a little rain. And just going to the movies. Going to the movies a lot this week. Seeing some things and seeing some good TV. I have to admit. I'm excited to dive in a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, hey, why don't we just dive straight in? We ain't gonna use the video this time because spoiler alert, y'all, it's been giving us a little bit of copyright troubles. So we are gonna just dive right into the movies and TV shows of the week. Are you guys caught up on Agatha All Along?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Man.
Oh,
I'm loving this show, man.
It is. I've been tweeting nonstop about it. I'm so happy. This has been formulated in a lab for me, and I'm so happy that I'm like not the only one loving it too. Like
Mhm.
I am really happy to see such a positive reception to the show, and it's making numbers, and it's actually has like really sparked this conversation, at least in my algorithm on social media. I'm seeing it on my Instagram algorithm and
I've been
Twitter
seeing it.
timeline, and I'm really happy. I'm really happy about it. I keep talking about it to everyone at work, everyone I meet. I'm like, you gotta catch up on Agatha All Along. If you liked WandaVision, if you like that era for like the MCU, where we're like looking forward every week, we're kind of theorizing here in a fun way. Agatha is that girl. I appreciate her.
Agatha's that witch, as we should say.
Yes.
She is that witch.
Like them witches.
It's working out really well for me. I feel like, just like you were saying with WandaVision, it's got me back theorizing again. It's got me asking questions, and I feel like those are the best MCU shows where Loki's an example, WandaVision is an example. Even the Falcon and Winter Soldier had a little bit of that where we want to know. I want to come back each week with some more questions. I want to know more about characters, more about who the heck is Teen supposed to be. Like, I want to know more about these things. And I love that Agatha All Along keeps that going every single week. No, man. Before we get to you, brother, we got some comments to get to. We got Laser and Braylon coming in the house. What's going on, guys? And then what's going on, MT Journal? Listen, Penguin review, we'll be getting into that in a little bit. And then Kevin Davis with an interesting anecdote here. Warner Brothers / DC need a win right now. Even if James Gunn makes a good Superman film, that's not going to change anything at all. I gotta slightly disagree on the Superman part because I think Superman is what it's riding on. Like, I think Superman's got to come out striking hot, and I think it will. I don't know, but I mean, Superman, if Superman comes out hot, that's a big win for DC. And not to mention the Batman did well for them. I think they've got some properties there to work with. I just think this is, I think, the 3rd or 4th miss in a row. So we'll get to it very soon. But Loretto, tell us, man, how you feeling about Agatha? Because it's got some good horror elements to it as well. It's got that Halloween-y, spooky, witchy vibe. How you feeling?
Yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie. I love the show so far. I think the latest episode was it was good, but it kind of just wasn't as strong as the first couple, as the first three at least. But I like the mystery, and I like the cast. I like the energy it's giving. I can't get the damn ballad out of my head. It's still in my Seekest thou the road.
Catchy. It's
I
so
can't,
good.
I can't. It's just so it's stuck in my head, and yeah, they're great. I mean, Aubrey Plaza's doing great. I like her chemistry with Catherine Hahn, and I think my biggest complaint right now is, you can't stop this, right? Like, for example, the fact that it was on a toy or whatever, you can't stop that. Whoops, spoiler stuff, but like somebody put it on my timeline, and I hate it. I hate it so much because I feel like if it wasn't for that little spoiler that I saw on my timeline, I feel like I would have been more engaged in this mystery that we're in. And now I feel like I kind of know some things, and it pisses me off. Like I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about or not, but
I think I do. Is
I
it a
definitely
Funko?
I feel like I got
Funko?
spoiled, and I'm so
Ow.
upset. I'm so
Yeah,
upset.
that's the problem with these shows. They're so like the way one enjoys them is so sensitive to spoilers, and unfortunately the Marvel is just so prone to leaks, and people are so obsessive in finding out information sometimes. And I get it, like the passion behind it, but damn, put a warning, put like a hello spoiler warning, blur that, put warning content.
Oh yeah, whoever that
damn.
was, it wasn't even like something I follow. I actually blocked the account. I was like, thanks.
Good.
Serious.
Yeah.
And it was like supposed to be like a news-ish like account, and I was just like, yeah, don't do that.
No, thank you. You can take that back to the kitchen.
I will admit I did cover that story, but I was definitely sure to put a spoiler warning.
Leo, you have journalistic integrity. You put a little content warning.
Always.
Well,
Always.
see, okay, actually, fun story.
trust
I almost
you.
watched that video, Leo, and you're like, spoiler alert, and I was like, whoop! And
Yes, sir. I was like, spoiler warning for Agatha. Don't go.
Leo takes care of the
I
people.
clicked stop. I was like,
Yeah, man. You gotta let the people know, but some people just want to run out with the post. No, not here. We gotta definitely put a spoiler.
A little blur.
Yeah.
So we can consent.
That's all it takes. But Agatha All Along, so far, so good. Really enjoying it so far. Let's talk. Have you guys watched The Penguin?
Yes.
I'm caught up. I finished episode 2 yesterday.
Man, oh man. I gotta say this, guys. The Penguin so far. I'm forgetting a couple of things. First off, I'm forgetting that that's Colin Farrell under there. He's doing such a goddamn good job. I'm like, wow.
He's crazy.
This dude is transformed completely for this character. I mean, just top to bottom, great acting between him and Kristen Milioti, who I think this is her best role to date, easily. She has completely blown the roof off as Sophia. Completely. I can fix her. But
we can fix her.
We can fix her. Let me tell y'all,
this is crazy, but she can match my freak.
There's a scene in episode 3 where I was like, wow, okay. Sophia like that. But Lo, how you feeling about The Penguin so far? Episode 3 just dropped about an hour ago, so definitely gonna rewatch this. But
I was gonna say I'm not on 3 yet, but the first 2 I'm loving. And honestly, guys, how did Kristen Milioti not become a thing? She is amazing. She's amazing, and I've had a crush on her since How I Met Your Mother. She played the mother in the final season, and
I remember.
And I adored her since then. I'm just thinking like she should be in more things. Like she should be in more movies. She's great. I think she had like a 2-second role in Wolf of Wall Street. I feel like she didn't really break out in the films, but God, I love the aesthetic. I love how, because I rewatched the Batman just to kind of get in the mood, and it just picks up right where it left off from the news of the flood and the Riddler, and then all of a sudden you're just like, okay, what's Penguin gonna do next? And then kind of just dive in with him and his wild journey. And I like that. I think both shows are doing a good job of not over sympathizing these villains and letting them be villains.
Exactly.
And especially Oz in The Penguin, he is doing some things, and it's just like, yo, this guy's nuts.
Yeah.
But I like that he's not just a goon. He's not just muscle. I like that his schemes are very intelligent, and even though one of them doesn't work out as we progress here, like he's thinking a couple steps ahead, and I like the game he's
Survive,
playing.
adapt, improvise.
Yep.
Yeah, and
You gotta.
I gotta admit, I didn't realize there was gonna be that mentorship with that young buck, but like, it's weird. I have like a hate-love relationship with it because obviously he has some kind of a heart, but it's also like the way he's bringing this kid along, and I'm also wondering like, yo, is this gonna end well for them? I don't know. Like, I'm kind of attached to their relationship. So
yeah, Vic and Oz's relationship is so interesting because you see that he's giving them like really solid advice. Like I'm just like, okay, some of this is like solid life advice, like learn to improvise or
For
something in
sure.
episode 3. But you're like, okay, he kind of had the kid at gunpoint in the first episode, and he's doing all these things. But the thing with Vic is it's like, okay, deep down, does he want to do it? Like that's kind of the questions I had in episode 1 and 2 and even 3. It's like deep down, does he want to do it? And just without spoiling episode 3, there is a little bit more to do for Vic in that episode. And in that episode, we do get another connection to the Batman. So I love that the show is giving us like the bits and pieces from the Batman and tying it in so well. I mean, it feels like it belongs in the same world, but we get a ground level view of Gotham, unlike where Batman, you get the view from the sky, right? You get the perspective from this rich guy looking over Gotham who wants to save it. As opposed to Oz's perspective, he's down in the slums, he's in the dirty, and I'm loving getting this gritty Gotham in the perspective of somebody with boots on the ground. But Elaine, how we feeling about the Penguin?
And I'm hooked. I really enjoy it. I like totally resonating with what you guys have said. I think getting this distinct perspective from the Batman movies, but still fitting like such a good puzzle piece in this world is so cool. I think it's really well done. It's really well thought out, and I love that it looks like it belongs. It definitely belongs to the same world, but they don't look identical.
Yeah,
I love that we're getting more of the daytime Gotham. Like we get to see Gotham during the day, which is so lovely. So I don't have to squint at my screen. Obviously, not hating on Batman's cinematography. Hello, Greg Fraser. I'm free on Thursday. But like it is a very, very dark and ominous movie because of the Batman as a character. So we get the flip side of that because of Oz. And it is so interesting because we know the Penguin is a villain. We know he's a bad guy. We know he'll just kill you if he needs to. But he has what typical mafioso protagonist has, that sauce.
yeah.
He's doing it in his head for the greater good. Personal gains included, but those personal gains include his community, his mom. Like at the end of the day, we're kind of rooting for killer family guys. You feel me? It is this very strange fascination with the mafioso like character as a whole in the genre. So I really, really like that. I enjoy the chemistry, of course, with Vic. I think Vic is more than anything just wanting to prove himself to be more than he was. Be it in this circumstance now that where it is what it is. It's sink or swim here. But he got himself into that situation as well. So I can't imagine that his life was also super duper going anywhere at that point. Like he seemed like a really, really lost soul. And it probably reminded Oz of himself. And I think I loved in that first episode Oz telling the story, and it really, really sets the tone for him as a character, telling the story of that mafioso that from his childhood that got thrown a parade in his community when he died and all this and that. Because he wants that. He wants to stick up for the little guy in his neck of the woods. You feel me? And it's like it's kind of a more sinister Robin Hood in a way. But
what's crazy is he was about to old Yeller Vic. He was like, "Hey, look at that sunrise!" And it's like,
I'm sure he thought it because you know what? He's got a point. He almost died for Vic. He really did.
Didn't speak up. Like if he didn't speak up, because he was just like, "No."
He got scared and he choked. And it's literally, this is gonna sound really harsh, but like Leo said, and with this I'll conclude. he was giving him solid life advice that you can apply to many things. And I heard that speech and I was just like hearing my dad, like his number one advice to us, like throughout all our lives was you panic, you die. Don't panic.
Yep.
Get control the situation and survive, adapt, improvise.
And also
that's a
leave
very important
cilantro
life
off of his
skill.
tacos.
For sure. For sure. It was so funny because my fiance
so
has that
good.
like cilantro ick. And he was like, yeah, I feel
No.
you.
Not the cilantro, G. Oh no, the soap.
I know it tastes like soap to him. And I'm like, damn, that's rough, brother.
Like, man, he made him pick it all out.
Yeah.
Every leaf.
It was rough. But it is what it is. But yeah, really excited to see where it goes.
Yeah. So far, this and Agatha have done a really good job of kind of bringing a different vibe to what their source material is. It's something different and something fresh. And like you said, LA, they don't make these villains like they make these villains. These are some villains, man. They're not making them like sympathetic much.
Not
like,
anti-heroes.
No, not anti-heroes. I'm like Penguin like blasted a dude in the first episode. Like,
yeah.
That's not
what a great cut to the title, by the way. What a great cut.
Look at that.
Look at him. He's about to blast us.
Waddle.
About to get iced by the anatomically incorrect skeletal penguin.
All right, y'all. Let's get to the piece de la resistance.
Ugh.
Joker 2. I'ma just come out the gate and say it. Awful, in my opinion, y'all. Awful. Listen, the first one I even loved. I will go to that length, and I know a lot of people. I know it's controversial. I get it. I understand why. I love the first one. I really liked the first movie back in 2019. I thought, wow, this is a great film. This is a villain film. Man, we get to the second movie, and there's a lot of rehashing. So, I without spoiling too much, guys, I will say it kind of hits the same beats as the first Joker, where it's like, okay, we start with Arthur Fleck being Arthur Fleck, get to a point in the movie where it's the same kind of hop and skip with that character development. Then this was supposed to be a musical, right? Well, it's pretty half-assed in its execution. Joaquin Phoenix, what happened? He sang and walked the line. I'm like, and he sounded all right. I don't know what happened here. Listen, man, all I gotta say is Joker 2, fundamentally on so many levels, is a hard miss. I would say it's a fourth musical, 75% court procedural drama, and then maybe 10% of some of the chaos we got from Joker. Eli, how you feeling? Because you're off of a fresh watch. Yeah. What did you think of Joker 2? I'll dig in a little more after you.
Yeah, I think we're kind of on the same page here. I was explaining it to a friend. I went to go see Megalopolis today with a friend, and he hadn't seen Joker yet. And so I was talking about it, and he's like, "Oh, you're selling it to me." I'm like, "I don't know, man." I was saying the things that I don't like about it, and he was like, "That intrigues me more." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. I think in theory, spoken verbally out of context, perhaps possibly good ideas, but in execution, this movie really, really, really falls short." Again, the musical aspect, and I said this a couple streams ago. I said you got to commit to the bit. If you're going to do a musical, you got to commit to the bit. Birds of Prey had one musical number, but they committed, and it furthered the story. It complemented the storyline. It was a direct reference to the plot, and it helped, and it made sense. Man, this took me back to Sweeney Todd, like the Tim Burton one. No choreography, nothing. Half-ass singing, very much repeating and insisting upon itself over and over and over again on its themes. It starts off okay. I really, really like the intro. No spoilers. I like what it tries to establish in that introduction.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it just feels really lazy in execution. And I don't enjoy the cop-out argument saying, "Oh, if you didn't like it, you're part of the point of that the movie's trying to make." I'm like, no, that's not it. we as a society can still have a compelling film with this very simple message that is executed with better narrative arcs, better character development, and better musical sequences.
Absolutely.
But I'm not gonna. If I dive deeper, I'm gonna spoil. So that's my piece on that.
One thing I will say is I am a little monster through and through. I love Lady Gaga. I love her music.
Same.
Man, I have been there since day one. Yo, why is she so underused? And I want to preface this by saying I think the way she's used is just not enough. I think that, especially in the trailer, we're like seeing like both of them dancing on the stairs and like, I'm sorry, this is the only spoiler I'm gonna drop. That's not even in the damn movie. And I was like, oh, okay, well, like that kind of energy. I was like, I need that from this character. Who it's called Lee in this version, and I went in knowing, okay, Todd Phillips wants to do something different with this Harley Quinn. Totally okay. Some of what she represents is good, but man, we just don't really see her do much. Like,
No,
we see her
she
in
does not
scenes.
pass the Bechdel test. Let me freaking tell you that.
No,
Absolutely not.
we
I
see her
think
in
she's just
things
completely stripped of personality and
completely.
any interesting motivations. And it just makes her completely dependent on her male counterpart. And it wasn't even done well. That's what makes me mad. Like, if you're gonna be misogynistic, at least be interesting. You couldn't even do that.
Couldn't even do that. And I just thought, okay, they really did just make her like somebody that was just there for him. Like,
Fan.
it just, I'm like,
There.
okay, this is a character that's an agent of chaos. Whereas, weirdly enough, it's so strange to say this, I liked Hayer's Harley Quinn more than I liked Todd Phillips. I'm like, dude, listen,
Isn't that
man, I
crazy?
didn't think Ayer did great either, but at the same time, I'm like, that's a better Harley representation in my eyes than this.
For sure.
I just think Harley is also a agent of chaos, and we just didn't really get to see that. And then the musical aspects, man, Joaquin, the vocals were off. There was one sequence where he did like some tap dancing. That was tight. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
we needed this a little earlier in the film, but I'm like, okay, I'm feeling that. And then I feel like that scene just kind of got cut short, and I'm like, well, we snatched the rug from up under us when there's actually a good musical number. It just, all in all, through and through, this movie is just really not good. And I'm not gonna say the ending. I'm not gonna talk about whether or not the spoiler going around was real or not. All I gotta say is that ending is a huge middle finger to anybody who is a fan and anybody who's not a fan of the first movie. I just think it's a complete middle finger to this entire Joker corner of the universe, completely.
Which is fine. Could be. It could be fine. I personally like don't. I'm not mad at the middle finger. I'm just mad at how the middle finger was executed. It was lame. It was tacky.
It was so tacky.
Tacky.
So
And I think just one last thing. I also think that this movie is very, very afraid of its own old Hollywood influences. And that's silly. I think they really, again, it's a movie that invites that aesthetic and invites that fantastical old Hollywood theatrics, and it was just afraid to commit to that. And I don't know, it should have had more confidence. I think for sure should have had more confidence while still, committing to its thesis statement.
exactly. It needed more confidence in its execution. That right there would have made a way better film. But y'all, it was a great roundup. Wait, I gotta ask you, Eli. You did get to see Megalopolis. Just give us some brief thoughts on what you thought about Megalopolis.
So do you all remember the 100 layers of something challenge like on YouTube years ago?
Yeah.
That's what this movie is. Is 100 layers of filmmaking. It's just everything. It's just so many layers. Yeah, literally. It's if you could stack film reels on top of each other, that's what this movie tried to do. Insane. Insane. It is so self-indulgent, like to the
Yes.
point of getting like gout. Like this movie has gout from how self-indulgent it is. It is by far more entertaining to me than Joker. because at least the absurdity kept me going like, "Oh my god, what is going on?" But wait, there's more. Like, it was very much beat for beat like, "Oh, we're going crazy, guys." Like, it was a drug trip.
That's
But
what I was trying to tell you.
yeah. No, but you know, I had a good time. I had a really, really good time. Is it a good movie? No. It but wow, to me, it was like one of those, like, not great movies where you could kinda, like, even hate watch if you will. To me, I think I was laughing. I was hooting and hollering the whole
Well,
time.
to that point, Eli, it's like it felt okay at its best. It felt kind of Baz Luhrmann, because Baz Luhrmann
Yeah, for
had
sure,
a
for
very
sure.
theatrical like banter with dialogue. But then sometimes
100%.
though, we got to like levels of like The Room, and
Yeah,
I'm just like,
yeah.
yo, this is a scene. Like, what-
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did, and his movie's still better than Joker. Ah,
Ooh. And he liked it. And
for him.
Marvel I knew
Yeah,
did.
for
He did so many
sure.
things that he
And you
forgot
know
narrative
what? We
coherence.
don't I don't know. I think compelling narrative and narrative coherence are two things. Because Annette's a good movie. In its weird, freaky little way. I don't know if y'all remember Annette. It's also an Adam
I
Driver, like,
remember
Adam
it.
Driver.
pan film.
Yeah.
Didn't love
This
it,
was
but
very much giving that. It's better than Annette for sure.
Oh.
But I think at the core of the movie, I think it is just an old man with his old ideas that
Mm.
you know, they gave Francis a MacBook for the first time and he went crazy. He
Oh.
went crazy.
And with
And,
that,
you know, you could get something really cool, but at the same time, you have a guy like Martin Scorsese who's of the same era still making very good masterpieces in his age, making very, very well thought out and personal storytelling in
some
his filmmaking.
some
So,
people lose it, man. Some people just
yeah,
age hit
hey,
them, you know.
it is what
like,
it
hey,
is.
no, like super like personal shade against the guy or anything, but it's like maybe he should have just stayed retired or
For sure.
disappeared or whatever he was
Sometimes you
doing.
lose the sauce, and that's okay. Okay, we are not built to last that long at our peak. We're just some of us are just not built different. Marty
Oh my god,
built
G Colby,
different.
thank you.
It
It
assists upon itself. It
insists
really
upon itself.
does. It really does. I felt it. I really felt it.
And
And
it's like I feel like there was something there, but it's just he was not
for
ready to
sure,
execute it, and he is just I feel like he lost himself in the movie. I
he
feel
was
like there
too
was
afraid to he was too afraid of his own liberal ideas.
like the movie took this little turn, and I feel like Francis didn't know what he was doing, and he was
No,
just
no.
letting it roll. Like,
He was on those
Man.
electric pianos where they have like the 5 different layers to them, and he has no idea. He's never played piano in his life, and he's just that was him. That was him in the cutting room
Just
floor,
all over it. Just,
all over it. And sometimes you can get something funky. Sometimes you get this. Again, there are slivers of a fun movie. It was giving Ben-Hur. It was just so I loved how theatrical it tried to be. I loved that. It was so campy. But Jesus H Christ. We coulda dialed it in on a decision here. We coulda picked a struggle. We really could have
hey
picked
Eli,
a struggle.
Eli, did you miss Shia LaBeouf?
oh,
Been a
No,
while, huh?
unfortunately, no,
yeah, he
I did
got
not.
all these problematic folk in the movie. I'm like, good God.
No,
Like,
yeah, there was some crusty dusty abusers in there. They really and you know what? They were the worst characters. They were really,
oh,
really big assholes. I'm like, yeah, these are good castings, I guess, for the sake of it.
ain't Aubrey
Absolutely
Plaza in there
insane.
though. I'm like, Aubrey's in there, Giancarlo. I'm like, they got a
Yeah,
great cast.
yeah.
Natalie Emmanuel, Adam Driver. I'm
I
like,
think
man, you
this
got a
was
great cast.
really a moment for them for their resumes. This was a
Oh,
resume
totally. I
pickup,
was in a
which
Francis
is
Ford Coppola
impressive.
movie. Like that right there, impressive on the resume.
Yeah. No, every time
Megalopolis or Jack with Robin Williams.
Jack with Robin
Oh, I'll take
Williams.
Jack.
I haven't
That's
seen
so
Megalopolis though.
specific. I guess I'll take Jack.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
I get why people don't like Jack, but I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it.
Oh, I didn't know there was this much hate around Jack.
Yeah,
I was unaware of this moment
Jack
in pop
ain't really
culture.
it.
All right. I guess. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, Jack is not a great film at all. But you know what? Hey,
It is what it is,
maybe
I
it'll be better
guess.
than Megalopolis.
Yeah, it is the Megalopolis of editing.
Look,
It's so funny.
Blue
It's so
Cinema.
funny because there are some moments where it looks so cheap, and I'm like, you know what? This is our fault for not buying more wine from his winery.
It's our fault because he needed some.
Every time there was
money.
a cheap CGI, and I was like, see, these were the 2 extra bottles we could have bought. This is on the audience now.
Hello, C
Such a
Dart
sneaker.
has an interesting question that we'll get to actually in our next segment. C Dart, wasn't Joker 1 a slow start to at the box office? Hold on to that question. We're gonna get to that. Let's actually get to our main meat and potatoes of the show. All right, Lo, take it away.
All right. We always kick off the roundup with a check of the box office pulse, and this was an interesting weekend. Joker Folie à deux debuts at number 1 with it's a number 1 showing, but it's a little bit disappointing considering how big this film's budget was. But they pulled a 40 mil domestic haul. The Wild Robot, which I adored, by the way. Wonderful film. Drops to number 2 with 18 mil. Beetlejuice, the spooky film of the spooky season, continues their strong run with 10 mil in third place. 4th week for them. Really cool. And followed by Transformers 1 and Speak No Evil. Transformers is hanging on, though they're not making a lot of money. But interesting weekend. I mean, the Joker is on top, but Leo, what was the budget for Joker? Like 200 mil? Almost close to that?
200 mil, yep. And that's way
Crazy.
too much. Way
Crazy. And regardless of like, even this film did do 60 to 70 mil, I just don't see how it just doesn't feel like a good investment. And I'm not saying, I haven't seen the first Joker, so I can't even judge it based on that merit. And I know the first Joker made $1 billion, which surprised the hell out of me, but I don't see how, it wasn't Avatar to me. Like, I don't see how that felt like they could do it again. It felt like that was a magic moment that has obviously since passed itself by, because I don't think this movie is making $1 billion. So really strange decision on WB's part to think like, oh yeah, let's do this again. Like, I think that's really interesting, especially with the budget. But by the way, I did see The Wild Robot. Wonderful film. Eli, how do you feel about the Joker's opening? And I mean, are you surprised? I feel like I'm not.
No, I think the box office this weekend was a little quiet in terms of new releases. I think Joker, despite its poor reception, was going to top it anyway because it wasn't really competing with a lot. And it is really nice to see such a lovely animated film that I still have to watch remain strong this weekend, especially considering how much love it's getting. I unfortunately wasn't able to catch it on an opening weekend because I was out of town. So definitely gonna catch it this week. My dad actually yesterday was like, "Have you seen The Wild Robot?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "It's a tearjerker." Don't say that. So yeah,
Confirmed.
I'm really
My
happy
eyes
that-
were very I
Yeah.
blame it on allergies. I was having moments.
Yeah. The Benadryl's coming in.
Yeah. It
So
was
happy
very,
to see
very
that.
allergy in the room. Very allergy.
Exactly. Very allergy. Very interesting to see Beetlejuice really hanging on strong. It is definitely the season. I still haven't had a chance to catch up to it. I'm sure I will very soon. But yeah, Speak No Evil is hanging on by its little claws. It's strange, just out of nowhere little claws, and I don't know how to feel about that. I'm just not. I understand Transformers 1, but Speak No Evil, I think people are just liking James McAvoy, but that's me assuming.
I almost feel like people don't even know what that movie's about.
Probably.
They're just like, oh,
I have no
Speak No
idea.
They're
Evil.
coming back. They're turning up. It's been a month.
How about you, Leo? I mean, I feel like we kind of saw this coming, right? With Joker just not making that money back, right?
Oh, I would say, I mean, box office predictions months ago were like, oh yeah, this is going to break the box office door open. But let me tell you guys, this is down 58% from the Joker 1, which actually in its first weekend made 96.2 million. On the same weekend, 5 years ago. I mean, that's that's a huge loss from Warner Brothers. They jacked the price of this up. So the price to make it, the budget, they jacked that up, and they just completely faltered in terms of the box office. Joker 2, yeah, Tyler, you're right.
Literally.
Yep, it's not even in the film. So I will say this though, man, oh man, Warner Brothers, we gotta look at this one. First and foremost, no test screenings, none. That's terrible. You added a musical element to this, you added the court element to this, and y'all didn't have at least one test screening. Terrible, absolutely horrible. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be the one to bash Todd Phillips over the head and stuff. He made the first one. The first one made them $1 billion. It was controversial. A lot of people loved it. A lot of people didn't. So I won't necessarily go to the length of saying that he's not a good filmmaker and he wasn't the dude to do this. I do think for the sequel and what they were trying to pull off, a better writer could have helped. But man, oh freaking man, this is the one comic book movie that has the lowest cinema score, a D, which means audiences and critics agreed on this in a terrible way, and that's not good. Even Eternals, audiences and critics didn't agree. You can go through most of the comic book movies, and yeah, even Deadpool 2, like critics at 70% Rotten Tomatoes, it's higher on the audience end. Here, we got both of them around 30%. D CinemaScore. So the word of mouth is bad. People didn't know it was a musical. There's a lot of bad things going on with Joker 2, but they need to take this, put this under a monocle and say, okay, how can we not make this ever happen again? Because this is a for Warner Brothers. And now you got people spooked even further with DC because you had the Aquaman bomb, they had the Flash bomb, they had Aquaman did good overseas, so I can't quite call that a bomb. But the Flash didn't perform like they wanted to. Blue Beetle made its money back, but it didn't do amazingly. Now we've got this big, huge stink bomb here. Guys, this does not look like this. And I know James Gunn has nothing to do with this. Him and Peter Safran's DCU have nothing to do with this. But that makes their job all the more harder. It puts Superman all the more on the line. So Warner Brothers, David Zaslav, no more of this bullshit. No more of the sequels without testing stuff and all this. No, dude. James Gunn and Peter Safran got to save the DC brand because the Batman was awesome. Joker 1 did great. DCEU, horribly. It ended horribly. Then you got this bomb after that. Seriously, let James Gunn and Safran cook and pray that Superman does well. Glad to see Beetlejuice holding up, though. I mean, it seems like the movie of the fall. It's holding on strong. I think I saw it cross 400 mil. It's doing great.
Did you get a chance to see The Wild Robot, Leo?
Not yet. I'm saving that for a reaction video, so not yet. But
okay, for sure. I was gonna say, especially since you're such a lover of animation as well, I think you'll really appreciate it. Really good storytelling, and
I can't.
Man, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really know how that story was gonna play out. Not what I thought it was, and it's all the more better for it. So,
absolutely agree. Transformers 1, sad to see that one topple. Because man, you know what? I think this is an example of marketing. Like
I barely saw it marketed for sure. This was a very, in comparison to like other Transformers projects, I believe, very quiet release.
Very quiet, and I think they like marketed towards kids. And I'm like, okay, there are some adult themes here that are very relatable for an older audience, and I think audiences of all ages can really enjoy this. But who knows?
I'm surprised they didn't go harder in the paint for it because I think Rise of the Beasts had a Super Bowl spot, didn't it? Like last Super Bowl?
It did, but it did so bad at the box office, man. I mean, at least compared to what came before, I think that maybe they were just like, ooh, we're worried. Maybe the Transformers franchise was kind of on ice.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it sucks. I liked it. I think this could have been the start of something really cool, and we might not see this follow through because of its poor reception. So
right, I'm worried.
Maybe it'll have legs on streaming, like some movies might have. Like I feel like that kind of happened when the Marvels hit streaming. People like skipped it out in theaters, and then all of a sudden it hit Disney Plus, and all of a sudden you saw tweets like, "Oh, wait, this is good." Like, no kidding. No kidding, huh?
There's like a Twitter account going around that's like, hey, Joker 2 is terrible. Go watch a good movie, Transformers 1. They have been going hard in the paint. Like, as far as posting their dog on there, be like, do you want to disappoint my dog? Go see Transformers 1. Seriously,
Crazy.
this account a check.
That's
They
an
got like
influencer.
30,000 followers. They're pushing hard, way harder than Paramount ever has. So
That's
cut them a
funny.
check, Paramount.
And that says a lot.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, interesting weekend. We'll see how Joker fares next week. I can't remember. Do we have any big releases going into November? Probably not, right?
We've got Moana 2.
Wicked.
We've got Wicked.
Hello.
Oh
yeah,
yeah, okay,
we got-
never
we
mind.
got a lot.
I forgot. No, November is stacked, but
We ride at dawn.
I feel like I'm
but
forgetting
yeah.
stuff too. There's some more in November. It's
There's a
Red One,
couple
Gladiator
titles.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we
I
got
feel
a
like
lot.
up until then, though, I think there's no like late October ones, right? Like nothing crazy.
Oh,
What
that
do
I'm
I have
unsure.
Next week, there's isn't there something coming out soon?
I know, at least here in Puerto Rico, Anora is releasing, but that's
Oh, is that coming out finally?
Yeah.
Man,
I am here for Mikey Madison.
Venom. Venom's in October, right? Late
Yeah,
October.
it's closing out October. It's gonna be the
That
biggest
is
one.
Halloween weekend, baby. I feel like that's gonna do well. Mark my words.
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like Venom is gonna do numbers,
And
it's
I
gonna
hate
be
to say it.
silly. It's gonna be silly.
I hate to say it. I'm gonna be seated. I can't help it. I got a little,
Venomopolis.
Venomopolis.
I got a little soft spot for the bromance to end all
For sure.
bromances.
For sure.
Listen, when Venom is a gay rom-com, it's at its best. That's all I was about.
Exactly.
I'm like,
When it's fruity, we're here.
when it's a,
We
when it's a
show
gay
up.
rom-com between the two of them, it's a good movie. I did want to address
Hold
that
on.
comment real quick. Top Gun 2 had a good reception though. And I think it has an A+ CinemaScore. So it had hella word of mouth. This,
Oh yeah.
let me tell you guys, I'm just going, Lorena, if you're watching this, you get a brief cameo on the show. My girlfriend texted me right after it said WTF at Joker 2. People don't like it. The audience doesn't like it. So
Exactly.
that's gonna kill it.
Yep.
Sorry, Lo, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, you're good. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Uh-oh. Got a question from Laser. How do you think Piece by Piece will do? The new Pharrell Williams Lego.
Oh, there you go. I knew something was coming out. I actually had a screener for that. I don't know.
You know,
Expert opinion. I don't know, man.
it's got great word of mouth. I'm not sure though, just because documentaries are so. It's got Super Slash Man. I think is that still playing? Super Slash Man had a limited release. I'm sorry, let me dial that back. I don't know, Laser. It's weird to say, but I guess the reason why is because it's like a biographical movie, and I feel like it's not being marketed nearly enough. I mean, you've got Pharrell in it, and it's about him and all these other artists: Timbaland, Kendrick Lamar, Jay-Z, Rhymes. Like you've got tons of musical artists here that contribute. I just think marketing wise, it's not hitting my algorithm. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not seeing shit about it. I'm seeing people seeing it and saying it's great. I'm not seeing.
What's interesting too is like when you talk about the documentary aspect, and like you look, I appreciate Pharrell doing something different, but it's like the Lego stuff kind of appeals to kids, and it's like, do kids want to see a documentary? So I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a biographical film. I don't know. It's like a kind of documentary-ish. It's something fresh and newish-ish. And that's cool and all. I think the Lego aspect of it attracts children, but I don't know. Probably not.
I think C Dart is asking some very good questions, but I don't have any answers for him.
Oh, why did Inside Out 2 make more money than Deadpool 3? It's a kids movie.
Yeah. They're rated, I think, or PG movies or G movies are always gonna trump a rated R film because you got a wider audience. It's just a massive market.
And kids want to, and when kids love an animated movie, they want to keep going back and back and back.
Exactly.
And back and back.
It's that child, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but it is that childish like repetition that keeps kids going back to the theaters because,
Mhm.
they're gonna have it nonstop on their TV at home once it hits Disney Plus.
Yeah, and this person's just on fire saying Barbie and Deadpool 3 are the most marketed movies in recent history, yet Inside Out 2 beat them with hardly any marketing. Again, it's that wide audience. And
Mhm.
honestly, I saw a lot of Inside Out 2 marketing actually. Like I saw
Yeah.
clips on clips on clips. I also think, and this is, I know Laser has really covered a lot of Inside Out 2. Great job on your coverage, buddy. I've been watching your videos. I'll say this about Inside Out 2. I think it's kind of like this generation's Toy Story. I think it's
For
like, okay,
sure.
Inside Out 1, kids that are Gen Z, that came out when they were kids, and now Inside Out 2 has come out when they're kind of teenagers to early 20s. It's following them, how Toy Story followed millennials. So it's got that effect to it a little bit. But
For
sorry,
sure.
Lo. we on this
You're
one
good.
a long time. My
You're
bad.
I know
I'm a motor
we had a
mouth.
lot to talk about, but let's get into the main chunk of stories we got coming up. First off, in the spirit of the spooky season, guys, I cannot wait for this movie. Robert Eggers' Nosferatu finally released an official trailer. We got a teaser not too long ago, and I'm here for it. Christmas Day cannot come any
Sign
sooner. I mean,
me
let me just
up.
kind of go through. I put multiple images, guys, here. I'm loving the gothic aesthetic, the cinematography. We got a great cast. I mean, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Willem Dafoe, Lily Rose Depp, Nicholas Hoult. I think we're in for a treat, especially a horror film of this scale. And I think Robert Eggers is hitting out the park. I know a lot of people didn't love The Northman, which isn't really a horror film, but I feel like his other films have done really well, at least for me. I cannot wait to see this.
Love
How
the
excited are you,
Northman.
Leo?
Oh my goodness. I am so excited. Listen, you Robert Eggers, you already got me like, okay, because I he doesn't have one movie I don't like in his filmography. He is, what is he, 3 in now? This is his 4th one. Looking at almost 4 for 4. I love The Witch, love The Lighthouse, and love The Northman. So I'm so looking forward to this. You got an all-star cast. I mean, having Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok, great. Nicholas Hoult in this movie, Lily Rose Depp, who, I mean, her expressions, she's a very expressive actor, and I think that she is bringing it here. Also, Willem Dafoe, legend. Dude, you just have this great cast. It's not giving us, we know Nosferatu, the classic movie, but I'm like, we're going to take some twists and turns here with Robert Eggers. And it's done a fantastic job of making this look incredibly intriguing without giving us everything. We haven't even seen Nosferatu. So I'm like, yes, this is the marketing campaign I need for Marvel. Don't show us Sentry. Just let us watch the movie
Exactly.
first and let's see how it looks for ourselves. I like that also recently Max did not do that with Salem's Lot. We did not see Barlow until the movie. So very well done. But yeah, Lily Rose Depp, man, those expressions she makes, she's
got the eyes for exactly.
Yep.
She's got and I mean this in the nicest way possible. She's got the bug out eyes for a role like this. She got them big express, kind of like that movie Big Eyes, like those paintings in that Amy Adams movie, like that. That's her face, and I think this is. I've not really particularly seen anything Lily Rose Depp has been in and loved, but I think she's found her little corner of the industry. I think if this performs well, I feel like I think she possibly has found her place as an actress. I think she could definitely be a horror girly, maybe
Yeah.
leaning more into that Mia Goth kind of a side of acting in these roles. So I am setting healthy expectations for her, even though I normally am not a fan of hers. But the trailers really got me going. These trailers and her expressions, I'm like, okay, you're delivering what you should be delivering so far.
Oh my God.
Lord.
Nosferatu should be playing for the Lakers.
Lily Rose Depp looks scared as hell here, and Tyler's just put together his fucking fantasy NBA team.
Nosferatu, man, we need you at point guard, homie.
Getting that Nosferatu DLC for 2K.
I hope this movie gives Lily Rose her flowers. I think she's definitely got some talent there. I mean, obviously she's a nepo baby, but when you're only known for yoga hosers, um, I think she hasn't quite gotten the opportunity. And I think to your point, Eli, I would love to see her be another scream queen. We could always use another one. And I think if she's good in it and she finds other roles, I think that could be a little niche for her. And I think the horror community would welcome her with open arms. So
yeah, because let me ask y'all, did y'all see Wolf, I think it was called? No, not
I
Wolf.
missed that one.
Oh, don't watch it.
She was like turning into a wolf or something, right? Like a real wolf.
Oh,
it's like her.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Her and another guy essentially
I skipped that shit. Absolutely.
They had zoanthropy, which is like a psychological. It's like
it was in their head. They thought they were wolves or something like that.
Yeah, they had like a mental disorder of thinking they were wolves, and they were like at this mental facility, and it's horrible. Honestly, what it tries to say, I'm like, listen, I think Joker delivered the message it was trying to go for way better than Wolf did. And it's just a terrible movie. I saw it at TIFF 2021 or 2021. Yeah, 2021. Awful. Yeah. Horrible.
This is a good question, guys.
Yeah, she's
your guys'
always in them festival movies, huh?
I was gonna say, guys, before we move on, what's our favorite vampire movie? Let me tell you, C Dart, I go to bat for Let the Right One In, especially the original, which is a foreign language film. It's subtitled, but really, really, really well done and real well executed. And it's super dark, but it also has like this strange heart to it that I really enjoy. How about you guys?
Blade.
Okay.
Hell yeah. I don't know.
Bram Stoker's Dracula is good too.
It is. I think I'm not saying it's the best one. It's just the one I gravitate towards. It's Underworld.
Underworld's great. I mean,
Underworld is a really fun, especially those first two movies.
Yeah, the first Underworld,
they're very, very good. They're near dear to my heart. They raised me.
Celine is that bitch. Okay, I'm like,
exactly. Yeah, to me, that was like that was the cultural impact for me. But yeah, I do enjoy Interview with a Vampire though. I'm watching the series now for the first time.
Ooh,
that shit is good. That is spicy. I love it.
I gotta get on that one. I've heard really good things about Interview.
Very good. I honestly, so silly of me to have waited this long. Season 1's on Netflix. Really, really,
and also
freaking good.
Also, I would be remiss if I didn't give a quick shout out to Robert Rodriguez's From Dusk Till Dawn. I love that movie as well. Quentin Tarantino. So that's a good one too.
It's Salma Hayek. Its obsession started right then and there.
The world really got introduced to her there.
Oh yeah.
All right. Next up, guys. These first look photos are great. We got a first look at the Russo Brothers' newest film, The Electric State, starring Chris Pratt, Millie Bobby Brown, and Huy Quan. And if you guys don't know what this Electric State's all about, supposedly it's like if the Disneyland animatronics decided to take over the world. And if you look in the still here, we got like a Mr. Peanut, I think it is, little anime chick over there, and we got this like
they tried and they failed, right? I read the synopsis there. This is a little weird.
They were trying to take over, but they didn't quite do it, right?
That's what I understood from the synopsis. It's like they tried to. And that's why you see like the old robots there. Like they just kind of live in this dystopia where they're in the remnants of that war, from what I understood, which is kooky. It's just quite kooky.
And I think, from these pictures alone, from the cast, I love Huy Quan, I love Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown, but I think there's a lot more going here than I initially thought. So I'm intrigued. I like this futuristic dystopian thing, and I didn't realize that, Eli. That's kind of interesting. Like they tried to take over the world and they didn't quite do it. That's kind of funny. Go ahead, run with it though. Like, I mean, how do you feel about? Are you gonna be here for this one?
It's interesting. I am intrigued. My first reaction, the first still I saw was that upper. I read the article, the link that you sent, and that first still, the immediate thought I had was wigs. Will you wear wigs? Will you wear wigs, etc. And the rest of it, I don't know. It was kind of giving Five Nights at Freddy's Ready Player One vibes in a
Absolutely.
strange way. I'm not the biggest Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt fan, but Huy Quan is really what gets me going here. I think it has potential to be a fun flick, but I don't know. The Russo Brothers hasn't really turned anything super impressive outside of the MCU in recent years. I'm not gonna lie. Like Gray Man
It's
and what was that other one? Cherry.
it's so
they're just
interesting 'cause
there.
I feel like they're good filmmakers, but for whatever reason, they're just not
I
putting
think
it all
they need
together
better
outside of Captain America.
writers. I think they are talented. I think they just need somebody with a different vision writing for them because they're good at executing. But I don't know. There's
100%.
just something about it. The concept is interesting, but I feel like it's gonna fall short to some kind of the dystopia formula. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be gray.
I would say Gold Searchers digging into some stuff here. The Russo brothers think that AI movies are inevitable, and I guess was that Millie Bobby Brown that said long movies ain't for her?
Yeah, which was a stupid
Yeah,
comment.
I don't like her. I
That was
really
a stupid,
don't.
stupid comment. And then she's like, "Oh, nobody's dying in Stranger Things. It's not good." I'm like, "Stop! This is your show. Please don't mess your show up." But
I think they already did.
yeah, there's some. Yeah, well, there's one actor in
Oh
particular
my God.
that still got to keep their
Wait,
role
hold on. No way.
eyes.
No,
Because
this
they
is
need to stop.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's got 300
gluttonous.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's something the Russo brothers are, and I think they'll stand by this. They are greedy. They are expensive.
Well, it's not
Good
even just the Russo
Lord.
brothers. Look at this cast. It's not just these three. You got Giancarlo Esposito up in here. You got Stanley Tucci up in this thing. Billy Bob Thornton,
320
Anthony
though.
Mackie, Jenny Slate, Woody Harrelson, Alan Tudyk. Like, I mean, this is a loaded cast top to bottom. So there's a big fat check right there. And then you got, the Russo brothers, like you said, Ileana.
They just
I
like
beg
That's
your
what I'm saying.
pardon.
The Russo brothers got a big fat check too. I guarantee you.
Dude, you know exactly what
I
clip
don't know.
I'm
They know
talking
how to make
about.
money.
I beg
I'll give
your
them that.
pardon. What's that, Ile? Sorry.
No, sorry. I know they know how to make money. I'll give them that.
But I feel like, is this even going to get a theatrical release? I mean, this is going to
No.
Netflix, right?
Straight to Netflix. So
That's crazy.
this movie, I think I agree with you, Ile. They haven't put out anything good outside of the MCU. I will say this. Joe Russo did write Extraction, and I thought Extraction 2 was actually a really solid action movie. I thought, especially for a Netflix action release, I thought very solid. Right. It stuck a little bit. It was a little tighter than that first one, because that first one we had a lot of exposition dumping and all this stuff. No, they just kind of stuck to the action. I was like, this is where we need to go with these Extraction movies. They just need to be these action, fun, rompy, fun, action-packed movies. They have not done too much. Avengers Payday, aka Avengers Doomsday. Yeah, which this is gonna be more expensive, possibly. But yeah, I worry. I think the Russo brothers, like you said, they need a strong writer. They do, because they didn't write any of the MCU movies they did. Joe Russo did write the Gray Man and Extraction 2, and Extraction 2 was pretty solid. Gray Man, wow, mediocre. I mean, I won't even go as far to say it's bad. I just think it was just completely mediocre with that cast. And I thought, funny enough, I was like, Chris Evans is hamming it up. He's having a good time. Where the fuck is that energy with everybody else? So weird, kind of strange thing going on there. And then I like this comment from the Laser. Looks like another Netflix movie that is going to feel factory made. They've got this factory formula going on that sometimes hits, but a lot of times is a complete miss. And they just, I think with Netflix, their lane really is either buying movies, like from film festivals, or the TV shows. Their TV stuff, Stranger Things, some of the stuff that come out, One Piece recently, Squid Game, that kind of stuff is great. What happens with these movies? Like, I'm like,
they go out to greener pastures, Leo. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm just like, what happens with these movies that it's just like it doesn't come out the same quality as those products?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Mess.
I don't know. Could be interesting. I'm skeptical.
Yeah, I'm skeptic. And we just had Five Nights at Freddy's, and we got another animatronic movie.
Honestly, we have a lot to get into, but Sea Dart, we actually covered this last week. I'm interested in Ballerina. I'll just say that Lionsgate doesn't feel like they trust it. They feel like they can't sell it without hammering us over the head with that it's a John Wick universe film. They said it like 10 times in the trailer.
I love
you
that.
didn't know.
I am so excited for Ballerina. I'm like, this is about to be my
Oh
shit.
yeah, no, it looks good though.
Not to mention John Wick giving her the stamp of approval. I was like, oh yeah, this is great. My man Wick was like, nah, you don't need to be like me. You already are, girl. Like I was like, yeah, see, that's great. And I think, I understand too with how much it does say John Wick and the stuff. They gotta get people in seats though, because it's a John Wick movie.
That's true.
And they just gotta have his name on it.
I just thought it was funny. Like me and Eli were like laughing about it because they just felt desperate. Like, hey guys, did you know this is a John Wick movie? Like it was just like,
no, I'm glad. It's almost like a necessary evil. I know that marketing team was like,
they gotta
include John Wick in that frame and that one and that call to action and that channel copy. Like they know. It's
y'all
exhausting.
Want to know why? Because their 2024 movies are The Killer's Game. Did y'all hear about that?
No.
Let me continue. They also had this year. What else did they have? They had The Killer's Game. Sorry, I'm kind of looking up. Megalopolis. Never Let Go. Who? What? Imaginary didn't do shit at the box office. They're struggling.
Imagined her out.
The Strangers chapter one. They're struggling. They got to be like Wick is their box office gym. They got to be like it's Wick to get the people in. And it is
crazy.
It is a lot, but
that's such a bad run of films. Like I feel bad for them.
Horrible. I mean, they just been taking L after L after L. I feel bad for them.
Happens to the best
speaking
of us,
of taking L's. Speaking of taking L's. I'm sorry. I don't mean to kick this off with that, but look, I have feelings about Spyglass in particular.
You can and you should.
But Scream 7, the popular horror franchise, has a release date, 2026. So we will see this movie sooner than later. Nev Campbell came back to return to star. Kevin Williamson, the original writer from the Wes Craven's films, is directing, which I wish I could be more excited about. Again, I'm not, just because of the drama with Melissa Barrera, and I just hate that happened to her. I'm on Team Barrera. I think that she didn't deserve that, and I hope that she does well in the rest of her career. I think it's crazy that she speaks out and gets canned for something like that. So anyways, Leo, how are you feeling about this new Scream 7? Obviously, this was not the one we were supposed to get,
right?
But they scrapped it. It looks like they're forgetting about the core 4, and they're running back to Sidney Prescott. Desperate.
Not watching. So I'm saying, listen, Scream ended with 6. It was a great run. Still my favorite horror franchise of all time. As far as I'm concerned, Scream 7 don't exist.
Well said, man. Well said. Eli, how are we feeling?
We stand our ground. This didn't happen. Absolutely not. Ended up Scream 6. What a great finale. Final shot. Look at that. Great ending to that story. No, you don't get to treat actors like that, especially actors that are literally risking their careers for doing what's morally right. And you know what? Melissa Barrera has incredible movies out this year. Go watch them.
Abigail,
great. Yeah,
Abigail,
fantastic.
Beast. Is it Beast?
Your Monster.
No, the Monster in Me. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Your Monster is awesome.
Your Monster.
Yeah, that one's a good one. Yep, they can keep it.
Oh, whoa! How did I get up there?
I beg your pardon.
But you know what? Very true. I would love one day to do Price is Right, but for movie budgets. That would be so funny.
Ooh, that would be. Ooh.
But speaking of Kevin Williamson, did you guys see Sick? It was his COVID horror film.
I did not.
Yeah, it was like a random little slasher set during it was literally pandemic based. They were wearing masks and stuff like that. I thought that was interesting, but I hate to say that I'm not going to support this, but yeah, I'm probably not gonna watch. So
And I can tell you guys, Scream content does great on the channel, but not gonna be me. Sorry. Nope.
Keep it trucking.
all right, and this is the one that kind of kicked the internet abuzz with a lot of thoughts, and I think we also feel some type of way about it. But studios are supposedly assembling superfan focus groups to help provide input on creative decisions in an attempt to avoid negative reception and social media backlash, which I think in and of itself is insane. Like, it feels like the studios are being like childish, like, oh no, please don't be mad at us. Like like they're so scared of what people are gonna say. And look, I get it, some movies flop, but I don't think this is the answer. I don't think that fans should have creative control over properties, especially some fans. Like I feel like this is going to bring out the worst kind of fans, like the worst kind of people, and I don't know if we need their opinion. But Ile, you had some thoughts about this. How are we feeling?
What is so phenomenal here is the incredible work the people at Variety put into the thumbnail, this cover photo. There's there's a common thread here, and then I'm not going to go on a long rant, I swear. But at the end of the day, it is giving power to, quite honestly, a minority. It is giving power to racist, misogynistic, homophobic bigots that are so loud on the internet that they make themselves seem bigger than they are. And studios, at the end of the day, want any excuse to not feature diverse actors and characters and stories on the big screen. So, yeah, I think at the end of it, at its core, they're looking for money. They were looking for big paydays, and this is just going to hurt them because really, you are going to have woke, like anti woke social media backlash simply because you have women on screen, you have a black person on screen, you have a queer person on screen. Really, like that is the baseline here. That is the baseline here, and it's a thought that shouldn't even be entertained. It used to be shameful to entertain the thought, and here we are giving them power. Not we, but the studios. So I think
Yeah,
it's
no,
a
absolutely.
weak present representation on their part, and I think people like what was it? Rings of Power. The team behind Rings of Power is sticking to their guns, and Amazon keeps renewing it. And
Mhm.
people, toxic fans are still gonna be like, "Oh, there's a black elf." Who cares? Because you know what? The mass audience, the big fandom, is still watching it. At the end of the day,
Yep.
they can go on their little Reddit threads and be toxic somewhere else, but this is not the space to do, and you will not be respected here. And I wish more big studios would do that, but they won't, especially Disney, because Jodie Turner Smollett also just Jodie Turner Smith just spoke out too about the Acolyte and how Disney just doesn't care or protect about their people of color actors. They just don't. And it's ridiculous to just give them a project, not that project to be good, para colmo, and take it away from them. Oh, people didn't like it. We're just going to cancel you. Really? Really? When The Acolyte, I feel like built up its audience and its fandom as it went on, which is
Mhm.
how television is supposed to work. It worked for The Bear. People didn't know The Bear in season 1. The Bear by season 2 started building up an audience, started building up recognition and word of mouth. And that's
Mhm.
how you like television is a long-term game. Rings of Power is already going to season 3.
Yep.
Thoughts, Leo, on these focus groups?
I don't know why Variety put Starlight in there because I'm like, The Boys is doing great. I don't know why Starlight's in the picture. I guess because she's a
People
powerful
hated
female
Starlight.
character.
They were being really misogynistic about her,
Yeah, but
actually.
it's doing great. Like that's the thing I'm looking at here is I'm like Bridgerton doing great. The Boys doing great. The Acolyte, it had some sort of lowish streaming numbers, but I attribute that to other things. I don't think it had anything to do with people not liking Amanda Stenberg being the main character because she's black. I don't think it had anything to do with that. I think Star Wars on just as a whole, in terms of their TV sector, has been on a little bit of a decline. But yo, that episode 5 had hella ratings, Jackie. That was a great episode, and I was like, okay, we opened the door at the end to more happening here. Yeah, I think they should just took a chance, went for it. Here's the biggest issue with Acolyte: the budget. They should not have had that budget be as big as it was. That was the problem. But no, why the hell are studios giving this attention? That's my biggest thing, is like Amazon and the creators of Rings of Power coming out and saying, well, guess what? We're going to keep on coming out with episodes, so screw you. Also, I don't know. I think the House of the Dragon example, people didn't have backlash here. So I don't know about that.
It got review bombed on IMDb, actually.
Oh, really?
That one episode specifically. Yes.
Was that the last one?
So,
was that the last episode?
oh, no. I think it was like the second to last or third to last. But I think what's interesting about the photos that we have in this little collage here, I think that was just the controversy itself. It's not so much that it bombed the shows.
Right.
But I think it's just that noise. And what's interesting, though, is if the show is still successful, to your guys' point, what are we doing here? Like, what?
Exactly.
What's the point?
Yeah, they shouldn't be paying attention to the hate videos. They shouldn't be paying attention to that stuff. The studio should be saying, we don't care what y'all think, racist and misogynist and all that. We gonna keep on putting this content out. Yeah, that's the move that they should make. But
yeah, I did see about that kiss. Like, there's a lot of people like, well, why do they do that? You know, and
man, I'm glad my algorithm is not that. But I did see a lot of the Acolyte bullshit, and these idiots. Let me tell you guys about something a little bit behind the scenes on YouTube. A lot of these idiots just became racist to make money, and they always have been racist. Mm-hmm. But they make these crazy, hateful videos to make fucking money because there's a lot of racist ass people out there that click on their content. All these goddamn studios need to do is say, we don't care what y'all got to say. Y'all can, for all we care, y'all don't have to watch the show. Don't. We would prefer you don't. We're going to keep making the shit. Stop giving these people a platform. And then bringing in this focus group stuff, I want to read a quote from the actual article. It says that particularly, I lost it, y'all. I'm sorry, but it did have something to say that they're going to bring in a focus group to say, oh, okay, if you do that, fans are going to outrage. No. Don't come in and bring these people in and they be like, oh, well, there's a black character, they're gonna outrage. Oh, well, there's a kiss between two women, they're gonna outrage. We're going backwards. We're stepping backwards. We're stepping back into the white male lead main characters only era, and we wanted to get away from that. Stop this bullshit. Stop. Yeah. The stuff is getting views.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Well, and a quick point here, Bridgerton is a very successful in terms of performance. All of these things were actually very relatively successful in terms of performance, but I saw so much hate in the fandom for Bridgerton for Michaela, because that character there, that black girl there, is supposed to be a man and he's supposed to be white, and people hated that she's a girl. It changes it completely. It changes her character. No, it doesn't. It's still a romance. So they made Francesca, that character there, canonically bisexual. And the fandom, like those, again, they're giving a voice to the racist few and making them seem bigger and giving them more power than they actually have. Because at the end of the day, these are well-performing shows and movies. That's insane. That's insane to me.
Yeah, I think they got to leave the creativity to the creators and not listen to their audience.
Exactly. And we gotta stand by artistic integrity here.
Yes. Let the creators create.
Yeah.
Let the creators create. I think that's the perfect quote to end the show on. Guys, this was a fantastic show. Great stories, great comments here. We had one here, Rian Johnson, The Last Jedi's impact, breaking these people's brains. Amen.
Every Christmas.
You know what's crazy, guys? Is like, sorry, this is a quick, very quick. Last Jedi, the day I went, the theater was going nuts. people were like, oh my God, like this is awesome. When Kylo killed Snoke, people went nuts in a good way. They were like, guys, my theater applauded like during that moment. And I was like, holy shit, this is great. Get Out. Oh, it's the worst Star Wars movie ever. I'm like, what the fuck happened? I don't know. But yeah, great stream this week, guys. We'll be back next week, y'all. So let's go around the horn. Let the people know where they can find you and what's coming up. Starting with you, Elaine. What you got coming up? Where can the people find you?
Well, you can find me at Captain Melendez on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. And you can find me here pretty much every Sunday on Geekly Goods Live, as well as the Puerto Rico Critics Association podcast that we are slowly but surely churning out episodes on. So stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned, y'all. And go follow her on all social media platforms. Lo, where can the people find you and what's coming up?
You can follow me on Twitter and Letterboxd at Marcellus Durden. I'm a proud editor and critic and reviewer for the Cinema Spot. Follow us on all socials at the Cinema Spot and check us out on thecinemasspot.com. We got reviews for Rings of Power, Salem's Lot, VHS Beyond, which was playing at Fantastic Fest. We have a bunch of reviews for specifically Fantastic Fest films. Also a review of Wolves and the Wild Robot. Lots of stuff, great reviews and film reviews and TV reviews. Check us out at thecinemasspot.com.
Guys, definitely go check them out at the Cinema Spot and follow Lo on all social media platforms. Here on the main channel, we've got reviews recently for It's What's Inside, which came out on Netflix, as well as a reaction for the movie, and reviews for Salem's Lot and the Joker, as well as, or Joker 2, excuse me, as well as a reaction for Salem's Lot. Coming up, we've got Sweepy, a series review. Superman and Lois, will be covering that as well. Season 4 premiere is tomorrow, guys, so stay tuned for that, as well as continued coverage of Only Murders. Just put out The Penguin, and maybe Hellboy the Crooked Man. It looks kind of bad, guys, so I might skip it. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. And if Netflix is so kind as they have been, maybe we'll also have a review for the Tomb Raider upcoming anime as well. So be on the lookout for content all coming up, guys, on the channel.
Okay.
And come on back next week for this lovely live stream, guys. Movie news every week at 7:15 p.m. PT. Come on back, guys, and we'll see you guys next time on Geekly Goods. See y'all.